This is Past the Rock.
Welcome back. We are now going to be talking about the pro side of things. I don't know how much longer it's going to be considered pro with what's happening in the college game with all that money being thrown around.
There's levels to the pro, I suppose, now.
I suppose, right? But for the meantime, the NFL will still be the king of pro football here. So I'm going to talk about it. Y'all are going to listen, and we're just going to go rolling right into the thick of things with the NFL news and notes. All right, not so much news, but some interesting things have happened, right? The one thing that and Beth, you've seen it in the rundown. I didn't put this in the proper order. There is a quarterback who is eligible for the Hall of Fame, who is now going to throw that eligibility away for another 5 years to play maybe a month and a half of football. Do you know who it is?
I am aware, actually, yes.
All right. Do you know how many kids he has?
Oh, that's not a question I could answer. No. How many grandkids does he have? It's a great question.
One right
just
now.
The one. Okay.
Just the one. His oldest son is 23 years old. So if y'all don't know who we're talking about, Phillip Rivers, baby. He is back in the NFL. 44-year-old, been retired for the last 5 years. Phillip Rivers is back in a Colts uniform.
Incredible.
Incredible news. I really wanted to get into this.
The only part that I think you absolutely need to get into is the fact that he also took Daniel Jones's number, just straight off his back kind of shit.
Is that what happened? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because because they fucking put Daniel Jones on the IR or whatever. He gets to wear 17.
There's no way.
That's
I
true.
thought. Oh, hold on. I need that to be fact checked.
Phillip Rivers is wearing 17.
No way. Snatching the jersey off of that kid's back is crazy. Also, why was Daniel Jones wearing 17?
I don't know, but he was just vibing. But yeah, that's the thing.
I guess
the Indianapolis Star said so.
Yeah, it's also been reported as well by CBS Sports. That is crazy. That is great. I love how dysfunctional this franchise is. Colts fans,
we thought they were on board. Everyone was hyping about the new owner, and
oh yeah, she's like if her father had Adderall, right, to kind of keep him in check. It's still the same chaos. It's just a little bit more organized, I guess. But no, he is back. He's currently on the practice squad. So here is how it's going to work, everybody. He is still technically eligible to be in the Hall of Fame for this upcoming class, as long as he remains part of the practice squad. Now, the moment he gets called up into the active roster, it resets. So he will potentially push his own eligibility 10 years down the line just for a month and a half of football. That's a real hooper. All right. That man loves ball. Okay. Now, I don't blame him for coming back, considering he has, I believe it's 10 kids, which, Jesus, man, like.
It feels low for what I thought he would be at by now.
I thought he was at 12 personally, but I think I heard he has 10 kids. Still way too many kids. But hey, whatever. That's good on you. No, yep, they are 12. 12 kids plus one grandchild.
And he was rocking the dad bod at the presser too. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I believe the grandchild and Phillip Rivers' youngest child are the same age.
It's beautiful.
That is incredible work there, Phillip Rivers. Just congratulations. This man has never heard of contraception in a day in his life.
Very true.
All right, but he is back. It's interesting because their QB situation is a lot more dire than I thought it was coming into this part of the year.
push the all-in button, and then the all-in button pushed back.
Yup. They are now 8-5. They are on a major skid. I believe, who is it? So obviously Daniel Jones has been on and got placed on IR due to the Achilles injury that he suffered. And then we have, on top of that, Anthony Richardson is still on the IR because of an orbital bone fracture that he suffered earlier in the year. So on top of that, right, they're down to just Riley Leonard and Brett Ripien. Here's the thing. Riley Leonard apparently has a knee injury. Yeah. So Riley Leonard, as reportedly has a knee injury. I don't see them listed on their injury report, but that he is dealing with something. So that's not great. A strained knee ligament. Are we playing sad music for Riley Leonard?
Is there sad music playing?
Yeah. Did you play music?
StreamYard definitely changed some things. All
right,
what Patrick's problem is. Okay, go. You're good. You're good.
Oh my God! How do you make it stop?
I'm not playing music on my side anymore.
I'm not either. What the hell?
Are you hearing it out in?
Is it coming from my end? Hold on. I'm gonna pause this real quick. We're back. That was the sounds that I was hearing that you're not hearing was because of a tab that I had open on ESPN. Thanks, ESPN.
I definitely thought that was me goofing off on the background, but I'm glad that we figured that out.
Yeah. So anyway, back to what I was saying though. Riley Leonard having a strained ligament. Now, you have Brett Ripien still on the roster, and this guy. Guess what? I want you to guess who he played for last, or what roster he was on last, Bethke, before he got replaced by an old quarterback. Because this is the second time this has happened to him this year.
Brett Ripien?
Yep.
Well, he's been doing this for a second now, too.
He was on a roster this year.
Jets. Oh, on the roster this year it happened.
He was on a roster this year that instead of playing him after the starter got hurt, they went out and got somebody much older than him.
Oh, Tyrod?
No.
Or not Tyrod. Not Teddy Two Gloves.
No.
Oh, damn.
All right, you want the answer?
Yeah.
Joe Flacco and the Bengals. That's right. He was the backup.
Right.
He was the backup in Cincinnati, and then they said, "Oh, Burrow's hurt. Yeah, sorry, kid. Beat it. We're getting Joe Flacco." And then the Colts bring him in. He finally gets a chance, right? Yeah, he's like, "All right, well, there's not a lot of people ahead of me on the depth chart that are healthy, so it's gonna be my time to shine, right? Right? You're not gonna get somebody who's like almost twice my age to play ahead of me, right?" And lo and behold, here they are. Oh man, this is fantastic. So welcome back, Phillip Rivers, to the NFL. We've kind of missed you in your funky throwing motion. Much luck to you. This Colts team is a sinking ship. I had high hopes for them because I was like, I felt like I identified them a little bit early, like, oh, they might actually be a good team. But now everything is just falling apart. So that's shame on me for not reading the tea leaves of the AFC South and how dysfunctional that conference is, or that division is. All right, so we're moving on from him, and now we're going to move on to some more QB news. All right, or some more notes to talk about. Bethke, I know you typically do not partake in football outside of what the Dallas Cowboys do, unless it's just randomly on your TV. Did you happen to hear anything regarding Shedeur Sanders this past week or weekend?
No, but I happen to know that, a little bit about Shedeur Sanders.
All right. Well, Shedeur Sanders has been, and I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but he has been named the full-time starter for the remainder of the year. Now, you look at what he's done. You look at his completion percentage. You're like, oh, not that great, but his yards up per attempt, pretty good. And he has made this offense feel like it has some life. So, for the Shador Sanders fan club out there, he had a pretty good game. I'm not going to say a great game. The numbers, if you look at the yards and the touchdowns, yes. If you look at his completion percentage, you're like, let's slow down there, y'all. Guy was still missing throws left and right. And against not a very good defense. But we're going to give credit where credit is due. So, Shador Sanders, he went, I believe it was 24 of 41. So, again, the accuracy is not totally there. 23 of 42, sorry. But 3 touchdowns, an interception, and almost had this team in position to tie it up until they got really weird late in the game where Kevin Stefanski, after the Browns score their final touchdown, right, they go on a 7-play, 80-yard drive with a minute 40 off the clock, a minute left in the game. They go for a 2-point conversion where they pass the ball, Bethke. Guess who they passed the ball with?
Shador.
Not Shador. Yeah. They went out and got, I believe it was Quinshon Judkins to pass the ball in the Wildcat formation.
Oh, okay. Judkins is good.
Yeah, except Shador wasn't on the field. Shador wasn't on the field, and he's the one who led the game, what could have been the game-tying drive. So, head-scratching decision, unless Browns fans, and more importantly, Shador fans, because I feel like Shador fans and Browns fans are not in the same bubble. You remember, this is a team that's probably trying to tank for as good of a pick as they can, because they got to unload Deshaun Watson, and they got to rebuild this team one way or another. And the best way to do that, get blue chip talent in the door. So, Shador Sanders, though, for Shador fans, Cleveland Browns fans, he is the starter for the remaining, I believe it is 8 games, 7 games? Something like that? Yeah. For the remainder of the season.
16 more games.
Yeah. For the remaining part of the year, he will be the starter. And he's looked decent in flashes, and that's what you want to see, especially from somebody who fell down to the 5th round, which he probably shouldn't have fell into the 5th round. I always thought he was probably like a 2nd or 3rd round pick, but geez. Either way. So we're going to move on from Shador because we need to talk about some more quarterbacks. I know the quarterback, it's real quarterback heavy to start the show, but hey, quarterbacks is what puts eyes on the television these days. Now, Bethke, there's a guy that played for the university in your hometown, and you definitely do remember him because
I watched most of his games live. Actually.
Yeah. He ended up playing for Cleveland actually. Robert Griffin III, 2nd overall pick out of Baylor, went to Washington. Many years later, another guy goes 2nd overall to Washington, plays the same position. And lo and behold, it seems like despite all the changes that have occurred within the organization, right? Different ownership, different coaches, different medical staff, different everything, it's still the same old Washington Commanders mismanaging their young quarterback who suffered a big-time injury. So, Jaden Daniels with the fucked up elbow, that's what we're going to call it, medical news, because I don't remember the exact elbow injury. Probably should have had his season just done, right? You have nothing to play for, Washington. You're not going to make the playoffs. You were never really going to make up any ground because you have the oldest roster in the league. Remember, I said this earlier in the year. This was a team due for regression because they were old. Their coaching staff does not inspire confidence. You should not believe in Dan Quinn as a head coach. You shouldn't believe in their offensive coordinator to just continue to be solid. But that's what they did. They got older. They didn't get younger. And Jaden Daniels kind of regressed, and to no fault of his own, I imagine. And then he got hurt with a devastating elbow injury that has no business playing football the rest of the year. But what do? Bethke? They roll him out, and they feed him to the wolves that were the the Vikings, which, let's be real, the Vikings team is not scary, but they do have a scary defensive coordinator.
Yeah, all of a sudden, I don't know. But yeah, they definitely made that game look scary.
9 of 20, Jaden Daniels. Now, granted, this is not his throwing elbow, but I imagine he can only think about protecting himself and not really getting the ball where it needs to be. 9 of 20, throws for 1 interception. He made J.J. McCarthy look like a viable quarterback on the other side. Okay? Which he is not. I'm going to say it right now. I'm throwing the towel on J.J. McCarthy.
That was the sound from his pants.
Pissed himself from fear of all those blitzes that he was going under, feeling out throughout the entire game.
It was the Blitzkrieg Bop.
Yeah. Now, the Washington Commanders, 3-10, will not be starting him this week. They said the reports are that there are no long-term concerns regarding the ligaments in his elbow. I don't buy it if it's coming from Washington. Jaden Daniels, protect yourself more, man. Protect yourself more. You want that second contract. You want a long career. Protect yourself. Sit out games if you have to. I know it's not like one of those things where people are like, oh, man, that's soft. Oh, man, what happened about the team? I'm like, hey, yo, fuck the team. If the team doesn't care about him, if they did, they wouldn't pay him. They wouldn't play him, rather, right now. But they did, and this is why Washington is a bottom feeder franchise and will be for the remaining time that they exist, I think. Anyway, we're going to move off of Washington. Jane Daniels, Bethke, I want to bring your world of college football into my world for a brief moment. All right? Granted, there's always going to be crossover. The college athletes come into the pros. Sometimes you get pro coaches going to college. Sometimes you get college coaches coming into the pros. And that is what is being rumored right now, Bethke. Who do you think is the betting favorite? And I hate that I have to say betting favorite, but who do you think right now is the betting favorite to be the next head coach of the New York Giants?
Oh yeah, I already saw it because before the Michigan stuff went fucking nuts, there was reports of this happening, and then there was I believe a picture of that or a video taken from the man you're about to talk about on his way to Cancun, which is funny also for the reason that Notre Dame skipped out on their thing and he actually went to Cancun. So quite incredible all around here.
Yes, it is Marcus Freeman, the head coach of the whiny, bitchy Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Listen, this is funny for so many reasons. All right, let's talk about why I hope this happens, because I do genuinely believe he will do a bad job in the pros. This is not a pro coach. Nothing about him screams this guy is ready for the pros, and this is why. He has absolutely zero experience coaching football in the pros. None. His background is not offense, right? His background is defense. And here is the problem. We talked about this last week, and I will rave about this forever. Defensive head coaches will always be at the mercy of whoever their offensive coordinator is, right? You can have incredible you can have an incredible defensive mind, defensive scheme. Your guys can be absolute killers out there. Look at DeMeco Ryans with the Houston Texans. All right. They go out there week in and week out, and they slime the other team out. All right. They are putting belt to ass. Here's the problem. They can't put points on the board, and so a lot of it is a wasted effort. And so when you do find a good offensive coordinator that can put points on the board, that can develop the offensive pieces that they have to work with, what happens? They get poached and they become head coaches, and you start the cycle over and over again. So, Marcus Freeman, if you take this job, which I don't know why you would, like, there is nothing really that exciting about this Giants team. You could say, well, their defensive line. And then I'm going to say
Michigan at this point.
Yeah, you look at their defensive line, and I'll say, what about the rest of that back seven? That back seven is disgusting. Then you look at offense. Well, like, Jackson Dart's playing really well. The guy doesn't know how to protect himself at all. And that is a guy who is not going to be long for the NFL if he keeps playing the way that he does. You look at Cam Scalabo. I'm like, all right, cool. Also a guy not long for the NFL the way that he plays. And then you have, Malik Neighbors. We don't know what Malik Neighbors is going to look like when he comes back from this ACL tear. Some guys, especially with modern medicine, come back and you're like, hey, you can hardly tell the difference. And other guys, it drastically alters the trajectory of their career for the worse. So you don't know what is going to happen. You look at it and like, what, you're going to work with Joe Shane? Joe Shane, the jackass that went on Hard Knocks and was like, no, yeah, we can get rid of Saquon. Although in year 2, it's starting to look, the year 2 of Saquon in Philly, starting to look like he might have been onto something. But that's neither here nor there for this conversation. And then, yeah, you have the Maras and the Tishes who just are not great owners. They're not the worst, I don't think, but they're not the best either. So you look at that situation, you're like, do you really want to go and leave a cushy gig at Notre Dame, maybe even like a potential upgrade and going to Michigan to go to the pros? If he goes to the pros, he's going to fail. The only thing that if he wants to transition to the pros, and I know he wouldn't do this, but if he wanted to realistically do that, go in as a defensive coordinator, show that your unit can kick ass for 2-3 years, and then you move up. I don't think he would do that. I don't think NFL teams would offer him that. But I think it would be the smartest choice. But it'll be interesting to see if he goes that route. That would be the biggest college name since Jim Harbaugh, but Jim Harbaugh at least had proved it in the pros already. And for anybody that says, "Oh, well, Marcus Freeman was in the NFL as a player," he was a practice squad guy for one season before I believe he had a heart condition that stopped him from continuing to play football. So he doesn't even have that much experience, no understanding what the operation is like up there. So that's it for my news and notes. Unless, Bethke, there was something that had caught your eye in the news cycle.
No, I think the NFL world had a tough time keeping up on the news cycle this week.
Oh, for sure. They were definitely outclassed this week. There's just not much going on that, other than talking.
Other than just football.
Yeah, other than like, what's wrong with the Chiefs? What's wrong with the Eagles? What's wrong with the Ravens? What's wrong with the Bengals? Just that's more talking points and less.
What's wrong
news.
with the Cowboys? Wait, we already knew that one. That actually hasn't changed much.
No. Now let's move on, shall we? To all of the lights. You want to hit that music?
I got it. I did it.
Lowlights.
Gotta bring it down.
The best and worst plays of the week. This is all of the lights. Except, actually, Bethke, we're not bringing as many lights this week as we probably would. And that's because the football weekend really pissed me off. I just caught L after L. And so
it wasn't particularly epic for me either.
Yeah, and so, listen, with that said, there was only so many plays that I really wanted to pick out. However, I want everybody to know I try to be as objective as I can regarding my own team. So we're going to make fun of my own team at the end of all of the lights. But first, let's appreciate and make fun of some of what happened in the NFL this week. We're going to start off with the Houston Texans and how devastating Rashee Rice got laid out on Sunday. Let's look at this. Patrick Mahomes scrambles, throws across his body to Rashee Rice. Oh my goodness. That was a clean hit. And he got back up, but look at this. This Houston Texans defense brings the boom. Beautiful. Beautiful hit. They played a hell of a game. Now listen, this Kansas City Chiefs offense is not great by any means, but the Texans really made them look like chumps out there. Now, I appreciate special teams. Special teams, if you make any sort of a play worth mentioning, I will put you on this show. And Tennessee Titans special teams unit, you get to be on this show with what? A pump block that honestly should have gone all the way, but he
looked like he tried to catch it and run with it, but
missed it. Still impressive. The guy clean. Nobody blocked him. He goes unblocked, gets the block on the kick, And they really should have housed it. That definitely would have ended the game if they were able to house it. They only get a field goal, I believe, from that. So that's more to talk about the offense of the Tennessee Titans than anything. All right, Puka Nacua, or maybe we should change his name to Puka Moskua. That was a bad pun. But he does go up and get the ball from the defender and takes it into the end zone. Puka Nacua, my goodness, it's just crazy how they go from Cooper Kupp, find his replacement, and his replacement's every bit as good, maybe even potentially better because of the style of player that he is. Now, this is a great week for some great catches, so it was really hard to pick more than just, the few that I put on here. But T. Higgins, I got to show you some love because you did it in the snow. Joe Burrow goes back to pass. Oh, no, was that Burrow? Or was that Flacco? I don't remember. Either way.
It's Burrow.
Yeah, he chucks it up for T. Higgins in the snow, makes the one-handed grab as he's getting pulled down.
Getting that MVP case going.
Yeah, except it's definitely not winning the MVP. Probably should, just based on how important he is, but whatever. Remember, I said special teams. If you make a play that's worthy of being on here, you will. And I feel like Brandon Aubrey has been on here more than once, maybe more than twice this year. And that's just because he drills 60-yarders as easily as he breathes. He drills it from 63 yards.
They only needed about 30 more of those.
Yep, just built the entire offense around Brandon Aubrey, making it from 60. All right. Now, I need to take a moment to look into the mind of Patrick Mahomes on this particular play because Becky. Sometimes I don't know what they're thinking, but we can always take a sneak peek through the magic of technology. And that's what was going through Patrick Mahomes' mind as he steps back and just launches it to Kelsey, who is not in a good spot. Now, this is not on Kelsey and Armand Holmes, but you know what? That was not a safe throw to make in that spot.
There's a lot of YOLOing.
Yeah, a lot of YOLO ball coming in there. Tried to force it to his guy, who was in between three Texans defenders who were hitting hard all night. I don't know. I don't know about that one. All right, now, I don't think I've ever seen this. We talk about stiff arms, strong quarterbacks, taking defenders down. Some quarterbacks, you need more than one guy to bring them down. I feel like that can sometimes be an exaggerated trait. But with Cam Ward, Bethke, I think Cam Ward might deserve that because I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback do this. You want to talk about trucking a motherfucker? How about dunking him onto the ground?
That was pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie.
The defender just, my gosh.
And the snow coming down, it was nice.
He just, boom. Now, it would have been so much cooler if he had completed the pass to any of his receivers. But just that alone is worthy of being on the highlights end of all of the lights. Now, same game. We're going to look at Shador here. And not just Shador, but the guy that he threw to. Harold Fannin Jr. Probably the second best rookie tight end in the game right now. Just, takes it away from the defender. Clutch play. This was to cap that 80-yard drive. Good for him. Good for Shador. Now, we see what a clutch throw into the end zone looks like. Let's see what an unclutched throw looks like. Courtesy of Caleb.
Ugh. They can't keep getting away with this.
Just throws it right at the defense. Going across his body to his left.
Bro, how many fucking losses am I going to get robbed of by this fucking Packers team, bro?
Caleb Williams, man.
Every single week, these idiots just do a little bit less stupid things to win football games. They don't dominate. They just are less stupid than the other team.
Yeah. Now, I want to highlight this because I like when a defender just takes the ball away from the offensive player. You saw this on I believe this was the Thursday night game. DJ Reed. I don't blame Dak on this one. I credit DJ Reed for taking the ball away from, was it Flournoy on this pass? Just whoop, rips it out of him.
By this point, I wasn't even watching the game anymore. I was like, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my night. Fuck you guys.
Oh, yeah.
So, does it count? I don't think it counts.
No, but it does for that guy's paycheck, probably. All right. Enough of the NFL. Let's make fun of the Eagles. And we're going to start with this. Bethke, since turnovers were a stat that's been instituted, I believe, in the 1930s, how many quarterbacks? Can you name any quarterbacks that have turned the ball over twice in one play?
No. That should never happen.
Because it's never happened. Guess who did it first? That's right, my guy, Jalen Hurts. He drops back the pass in what was one of his rougher games, throws into triple coverage, gets picked, gets the ball back, and then gets the ball stripped away from him! Jalen, buddy. What are we doing here? All right.
There's a sign of the police.
And you know what? The clip's going to keep going because I really need to emphasize my frustration, but also how I'm willing to make fun of my team because we're going to watch this from another angle. Just gets the ball snatched from a defensive lineman, gets the ball ripped, and then look, just loses the ball in what was one of the ugliest games I have ever seen. Now, I will say this. I want to take this. The defensive effort by the Eagles, I don't know how much of the game that you watched, if any. The Eagles' defense was so good that the Jalen Hurts had 4 turnovers and they still almost won the game. That was a hell of a performance from the defense. But Jesus Christ, this offense is a crime against humanity. Now, let's look at the Monsters, Inc. version. Because, what's his name? Sully? Sully had a hell of a game.
Let the Ferrari go.
You got to rush the passer, but Sully is dropping back. Wazowski throws. Intercepted by Sully.
You know, Mike Wazowski spells Jalen Hurts for a second. What does he do? He throws a pick right to Sully. I want to call tampering because those two are best friends. And I don't know if there's contract incentives for those picks on Sully ends, but whatever. Now, Sully doesn't just stop with intercepting Mike Wazowski. He also takes care of Jalen Hurts to seal the game.
He may never laugh either. He is serious, and he's serious about trying to win this game, but it's intercepted. Sully with his 4th interception of the night, and this one ends it. Almost a 23-19, but it's a 22-19, and the Chargers win.
Sully there to end the game.
Oh, that was great.
Well, that was pretty incredible. Yeah, no, I think that's close to Donald Duck doing the 3 thing after fucking ramming on somebody last year during the Christmas basketball games.
Yeah. Listen, I do enjoy these broadcasts to some extent. But, you know, it doesn't stop there, right? Like, it doesn't stop with Monsters, Inc. It doesn't stop with Toy Story. Or they had a Simpsons one, right?
Yeah, there's Simpsons, yeah. That was good.
It's going to keep going until we're out of IPs. And I feel this is the Eagles' second game doing this. I don't think they did Toy Story. I think they did another one. Toy Story. But anyway, they got embarrassed here. You know, Sully is still just such a dominant player, but when you're like 7'6", 600 pounds, it's gonna happen. Watch him bully Jordan Mailata here.
Jalen Hurts is gonna keep an eye on him.
Gotta block him.
3rd down, it's a pass for Hurts. Here comes Sully. He got there. James P. Sullivan with his first career sack. He drops Jalen Hurts, and it's 4th down.
Well, in the NFL, you want to chip players like Myles Garrett, like Micah Parsons. I certainly would be trying to chip
Incredible.
Incredible. And you know what? Just because Sully got all the fun doesn't mean he was the only one. Because at one point, his best friend, who was like 3 foot tall, maybe 2 foot tall, locked him up in coverage.
Quarterback that's one of the best in the NFL for the Chargers. I love throwing the ball to Sully.
It's Herbert in the pocket. He throws on the run, looking for Sully, and it's incomplete. Mike Wazowski in coverage.
Whoa.
Island, baby! Mike Wazowski Island! You can't throw him. But, you know, when Mike Wazowski is not on Sully, Sully can get away from you. By evidence of this play right here.
Lined up in the backfield next to Justin Herbert, who drops back to pass on 3rd down and 7. Drops it off for Sullivan. He's got a lot of space. Sully down the sideline. He's still going. James P. Sullivan getting all 766 pounds moving for 60 yards on the catch and run.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man, he's incredible. Absolutely incredible. And you know what? His night was still going. He was a superstar in this game. Give him the max deal. Because he had multiple interceptions. Here's another one of his interceptions. I hope I didn't accidentally do the same clip twice.
Screen, Wazowski against Sully. And intercepted again! Sully with a hat trick. He's got 3 picks tonight. And a return of 27 yards.
Dominant. Also, are there any other monsters in that universe? Is just the 2 of the guys? I think there's
There's way more.
Wasn't there a whole university?
Yeah, the problem is those are the only 2 they probably could feasibly get. But yeah, listen, unlike the Simpsons, because the Simpsons, they did what? They did Homer, they had Bart, they had Lisa. I don't remember. I feel like this
Mo.
was,
They actually dipped into the Simpsons characters better than anyone else, I thought, maybe.
yeah, I wonder why. I guess because Mike and Sully are the only one that people really, truly remember. They should have gotten Boo, the kid, but whatever. Might be child labor laws in the NFL. I don't know. Although then maybe that wouldn't explain why Bart and Lisa got to play. All right, and then this one to kind of just show you some of the actual things that happened in that game. There was a double screen of what it looked like for the people watching the regular game and watching the Monsters Inc. broadcast with the Saquon Wazowski touchdown run.
Hand the ball off to Mike Wazowski.
Oh, yeah, they fake the tush push. They pitch it to Wazowski. He's gone, leaving Sully in his wake. Mike Wazowski has proven tonight he is something special.
Impressive.
Very impressive. And, y'all, that was all of the lights, courtesy of all these clips that I found on the internet. And with that, we move on. And we're going to take a look in to see the picks, the PTR picks. How do we do against Jesus? Let me check. It's not looking too great. He is 29 up. We made up 1 game.
The consistency to stay over Patrick right now at just 1 game is quite impressive.
You guys are going back and forth like crazy. I actually admire the race that you guys have going on. I lost a lot of ground on Jesus. I lost 2 games personally, and let's look into that. Let's look into what. Oh my God. Okay, so we both got the Cowboys thing wrong.
Us. Yeah, but we were right, but they fucked us.
Yeah. We weren't wrong in picking the Cowboys. We were just
they're fucking assholes.
Yeah, they just don't care about us. Now, I'll say this: the Lions. We had every reason to believe that the Lions were on a skid and the Cowboys were on a hot streak, and yet here it was, just proving that it didn't really matter. The Chicago Bears. They shot themselves in the foot, and the Green Bay Packers have some weird voodoo magic curse on them that is keeping them ahead of the Bears. I picked Washington. You picked Minnesota. There was really no weird, real reason to pick either of these teams. I just didn't anticipate Washington getting skunked 31-0 like that. But hey, that's what I get for believing in Washington, even for our toss-up game. We both got Miami right over the Jets. I don't know why Patrick thought the Jets were going to do that. The Miami's quietly on I believe a 5-game winning streak.
Yeah, they
4-game winning streak.
So they low-key got their shit together, but they also play easy competition, so we'll see.
Yeah. And for my sake, I hope that they go on a skid so we can steal their head coach to be our offensive coordinator, but that's neither here nor there. I picked the Colts. I thought maybe, just maybe, Daniel Jones would hold up. Didn't expect the Achilles tear, and the Jags, the Jags did what the Jags had to do. They had to win that game. Pittsburgh, Baltimore. God, I thought Baltimore was going to handle business. They know they can't afford many losses, and they go out and embarrass themselves. That team looks like an absolute mess. It is time to move on from the Harbaugh. All right, the youngest Harbaugh needs to be shipped out of there
to Michigan,
probably. And then you have the Buffalo Bills. Bengals, that was a good matchup. Yeah, I don't fault you for going with Joe Burrow in this matchup.
Keep the narrative alive.
But unfortunately, it didn't work out. So, for anybody who remembers last week's episode, I did pick the Chargers initially. And then as the week moved on, I thought, you know what? Let me huff some copium. Maybe, just maybe, and this was after the Cowboys loss, the Eagles will fuck around and win 14-13. Ugly game. They have no business winning. And for a moment there, it looked like that was going to happen. It didn't. And now they got embarrassed on the fucking Monsters Inc. broadcast. Such is life. Anyway, so we move on from that and we go on to the picks that we have for this week. I don't know if you've made your picks. So perfect. So I will talk about the picks that we have this week. Audience, pick and choose who you think it will be right here as we try to attempt to predict who will be right. We are in unison and unanimous agreement that Tampa Bay should beat the Atlanta Falcons. Despite Tampa Bay being on a skid, this is the NFC South. You never know what's going to happen because everybody in there is dog shit doo-doo except the Panthers. Remember, audience, the Panthers are good. The Chicago Bears. We all think the Bears will bounce back against the Shador-led Cleveland Browns. You and I, we've picked the Cincinnati Bengals. Patrick has picked the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, the Baltimore Ravens are tire fire right now, and nothing's gonna fix that, unfortunately. So I think the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they're gonna blow out the Ravens. Honestly. We look at Chargers, Chiefs. Normally, I feel like you're with the Chargers on this one, but you're picking the Chiefs this week. What's going on there?
Well, I mean, I think the Chargers also kind of suck, and we don't respect that enough.
You know what? Fair enough. All right. What do we got next? We got Buffalo, New England. This is a tough one. Now, New England has played nothing but cupcakes for the majority of the year. All right. Somebody looked at their schedule in the top 10 draft or in the draft order, right? The top 10 worst teams. I believe the New England Patriots have played 8 or 9 of them. Says a lot about that 11-2 record. Or whatever the record is, 10-2, 11-2. They beat Buffalo once. Can they do it again? Well, it remains to be seen. The Giants in Washington. This one was tough because both teams suck. Who sucks less? That remains to be seen. Now the Giants need the tank for their better draft picks, right? Build up the O-line, maybe get a receiver, maybe find a defensive player worth taking a flyer on because they have the quarterback. Washington just feels like a team that will ruin their own draft stock, but so does New York. So I'm going to go with Washington. Y'all two went with New York. We'll see what happens here. Bethke, you're picking the Eagles against the Raiders. I don't like that. I don't like that Patrick also picked the Eagles against the Raiders. I am doing something that I've never done before, and I'm probably going to get it wrong. I'm picking the tie.
No, I mean, look, I think the Eagles are there's just the Raiders are really bad, dude.
They're really bad, and yet I can read the tea leaves. I've seen this before. 2023. Eagles were 11.5-point favorites. I believe it was against the Cardinals. And they lost. And so the sky is falling in Philadelphia. They are going to lose the division to the Dallas Cowboys. Believe you me, they will do everything in their power to hand that to the Dallas Cowboys. Whether the Dallas Cowboys run with it or not, that remains to be seen. But I'm telling you, the way that this offense is going, that's probably going to happen. Jacksonville should skunk the Jets. Houston, we all agree that they should beat the Arizona Cardinals. You and I are in favor of Denver beating the Green Bay Packers. You for probably more hateful reasons than me. And Patrick believes in the Packers.
Deserve one.
And listen, yeah, for sure. And I think the Broncos have the defense to give you that win. We have Detroit Rams. Detroit needs this more than the Rams, but I think the Rams are going to win this and climb back up into the 1 seed, especially with the loss that the Chicago Bears had. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. Carolina. All of y'all picked Carolina over New Orleans, as it should be. I really wish I could pick Tennessee to beat the San Francisco 49ers, but that would just be a throwaway pick. So we're all in agreement that San Francisco beats the 49ers. Bethke, I think it's time we go to the watch it, skip it train wreck. What did Patrick leave for us?
Watch it, skip it, or train wreck. Glory to the pigs from seas. Please don't make me watch the Colts. Philip Rivers is too old. Should I watch the Rams and Lions? Which game should I keep my eyes on? Only a few weeks remain. Seas, please help me pick some games. Watch it, skip it, or train wreck. Glory to the pigs of sea. Merry Christmas.
So it's beautiful. It's another amazing one. It's like we're still 2 episodes away from the Christmas episode. I'm impressed, but do you think he has a carol for every week until the day of?
I don't know.
He only
man.
has one more, so I guess it's fair. Get it in now.
Yeah, man. I don't know, but that was good. I don't know that the grunt needed to be captioned, but I appreciate it for comedic effect.
It's beautiful.
Truly, absolutely, truly. All right, so pulling up what I have for our must-watch games of the week, our must-skip games, and the train wreck picks. All right, Bethke, we're just going to go ahead and acknowledge this. Your Cowboys are going to be must-watch television, but there exists an NFL that, some fans, they don't appreciate your team. And so I'm going to try to appeal to them against maybe your better wishes.
And Patrick's this week.
And yeah. All right. I got 3 games that I think a neutral fan of football will enjoy. All right. Bills, Pats. You have 2 winning teams. You have the number 1 seed in the AFC, the New England Patriots, against a Josh Allen-led Buffalo Bills. Listen, this is the best opportunity Josh Allen will ever, and I mean ever, have at going into the Super Bowl, through the playoffs. Because look at it. You're not going to have – Patrick Mahomes isn't going to make the playoffs this year. Lamar Jackson won't. Joe Burrow won't. Those are his 3 biggest that's his big 3 right, that he has to go up against on a year in, year out basis, they're not there. They won't be there. You have an upstart Drake May, but that Patriots team is not super talented. And they've been beating a bunch of cupcakes. So, can you do it? This is the best time to find out. Pats Broncos. This is the hate watch for Bethke. And this is two teams with incredible records in their respective conferences. I don't know how real Denver is. They are living and dying by that defense and making just enough plays on offense to be viable, and it's worked for them. I've been waiting for them to come back down to earth, but Sean Payton has smoked some weird voodoo magic blunt that has allowed his offense to be mildly successful. I still don't think Bo Nix is a good quarterback, but he's a quarterback that can win when everything else is going right. And sometimes in down years like this, that's all you need. And then Rams, Lions. All right, Matthew Stafford against his old team. They're going to ad nauseum mention that in the broadcast. All right, but that doesn't take away from the fact that you're going to have some fun offensive football potentially coming out of this game. Skip it, Commies and Giants. That's just two bottom feeders in the NFC going against each other. It's gross. And then the other one, it's Bucks Falcons. Bucks are on a skid. They have been playing some terrible football. They're going up against the Falcons. Like, does anybody really want to watch that? Do you really want to see Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield, who's been playing bad football, go at it? You don't. Save your weekend and watch something else. Skip these, watch something else. That's all I got on that one. Trainwreck. This one was tough. I have Colts and Seahawks. Reason being, there is a potential chance that we get a 44-year-old quarterback who just came out of retirement a few days ago playing in this game against an aggressive Seahawks defense. That is not lending itself to a good outcome for the Colts. So, and even if they don't play Phillip Rivers, it's going to be what, Riley Leonard and Brett Ripien? So either way, you're going to get probably a mismatch, a football follies, a train wreck, if you will, from that game. And then the ultimate train wreck. This will go down as the ugliest game of the slate. All right, look at me, audience. This right here, this game, I almost put on the skip it. But because of the very nature of train wreck and the definition that I've placed upon it, it fell ass backwards into the train wreck definition. It is the Las Vegas Raiders and the Philadelphia Eagles. Bethke, across the last 5 games, or I believe it's 6. I can't quite put the number on there. Only 2 teams have scored less than 8 touchdowns. These are those 2 teams. These are the 2 worst offenses across the last 6-7 weeks. They are near dead last in success rates, EPA, all the nerdy analytics stats. These are the 2 worst teams. And you look at one team's side and you're like, well, I can see why you're bad. I can't see why the other side is bad. What the fuck? And then you realize both teams have actual terrorists as offensive coordinators. One of them did the smart thing and sent his ass packing. Fuck you, Chip Kelly. And then the other one is like, hey, let's just get Nick Sirianni more involved in the offense, yeah? Let's just get the guy whose system we're running more involved, right? Because that's going to make things better. It didn't, and it won't. And these teams are going up against each other. Now, the saving grace for the Philadelphia Eagles in this matchup is that they have an elite defense, and the Raiders don't have that. So we'll see what happens. A movable force. Actually, no. It is 2 very stoppable forces going up against each other. and it's just going to be discussing football. It's a train wreck. And yeah, that's all I got. I don't know if you have any honorable mentions.
I think that's a good slate there. I like that. Obviously, watch the Cowboys.
Yeah, that one goes without saying.
Watch it, skip it, and it's always going to be a train wreck.
That's right. And listen, we do have a game of the week. That one just goes to the game that gets the must watch, and it's the game that I believe has the biggest storylines. It may not always be the best game, but it might be the most impactful game for how everything plays out in the NFL. And this one was tough, right? Because you have two teams that are in the same conference going up against each other, and one AFC NFC matchup. So by the very nature of AFC NFC not necessarily mattering, Pats Broncos, you're not in the game of the week. So then what does that leave us with? That leaves us with Rams, Lions, Bills, Pats. Bills, Pats is a divisional matchup. Bills are firmly in the playoffs. They will be I believe they'll be the 5th seed if they don't win a division. Whoever loses this division will be the best 5th seed that we've had in recent memory by record, I believe. But for some reason, I just can't put this game there because there's just something that's keep preventing me from doing that. Maybe it's my NFC bias because that's just the conference that I know and sometimes love. The Lions-Rams will be the game of the week because the Lions are still vying for a wild card spot. They are not in the playoffs currently, but they made themselves a lot more viable with that win against the Dallas Cowboys. If you can beat the Rams, well, now you're affecting a lot more than just your own conference standings. You're affecting the standings of the NFC West, right? Because if the Seahawks have a favorable matchup this week. So if they win that match, they win their game, they go 11-3. The Rams lose this one, they go 10-4, and that's going to affect the seedings, right? Because this is a pretty neck and neck year in the NFC for playoff seedings. So you have, let me see, bring this up. You have the Los Angeles Rams 10-3, Green Bay Packers 9-3. They're the 2 seed. The Bears fell to the 7th seed with that loss, so they go from the 1 seed to the 7th seed. That's a crazy drop, absolute crazy drop. But it makes sense when you see how tight things are in the NFC. So if you're the Lions, you win this game, you go to 9-5. You're still on the outside looking in, but you've made up ground. You still have a reasonable shot at jumping over either the Bears or the 49ers. If you lose this game, well, then now the Panthers are riding you right there, and you have less and less to work with within your own division and your own conference to try and make up that ground. So this is a must-win game for the Lions. No room for errors. The Rams have some, but not a lot, of room for error, especially with the Seahawks riding down or breathing down their necks, rather. So for that, this is the game of the week, the game with the most storylines that will greatly affect their conference. Beth, I think we did a pretty decent job running the Asylum, like we always do. Patrick, you're lucky we didn't go out of pocket here this time around.
Yeah, and let's hope for his sake. Well, not this week. This week I need the Vikings. I need 9 to show up. Yeah, well, hopefully he gets another week in which the Vikings aren't an embarrassment, that he gets to actually enjoy that. So,
True.
Unfortunate for him. But yeah, good night, folks.
Thank you for
enjoy your foozing, and the captain will be back.
We'll see you next week.